Hi, this is Nicole Rivera, and you're listening to the Stop Writing Alone podcast. Last week, I made an impulse decision on Thursday. I think it was Thursday night was the final moment that you could sign up to be a part of the NYC Midnight Screenwriting Challenge. And I decided enough is enough. I'm going to do this. This is something of note because I have not only never entered a screenwriting challenge before or contest of any sort, I've never written a screenplay. Not officially, not even like playing around in a notebook. I just never did it. However, so you're saying to yourself, Nicole, what the heck? Why would you do this? Why would you do this if it's not even a thing you've even played around with? Julia Cameron in The Artist's Way talks about something called the shadow artist. And she talks about this sense that people go kind of like orbiting around a creativity, a creation or an art of some sort that they really want to be a part of, but either due to fear or imposter syndrome or whatever, they just never step into it. She gives the example of like theater critics are great shadow artists. They want to be all involved in all the things that are going on in theater. So they take a job that gets them there, gets them in the seat, gets them behind the scenes, gets them seeing all of the different parts. But instead of actually being a part of the creation, they are the critics. They're on the other side. I am not under any illusions here. I have been a shadow artist of film, whether it's television or the big screen, my entire life. Like I've just always been in love with screen stories. I've talked about that for sure here in the podcast before. So it's been sort of playing on my mind that, okay, Nicole, you've been writing, you're doing all this writing, but you love screen stories. So when are you ever going to take the plunge and learn how to do this? So again, you might say, Nicole, why not just take a screenwriting course? I don't know why, but for some reason last week when I saw the screenwriting challenge come, I said, this is the moment I have to do this because it'll give me a 1 week deadline to say that I've at least tried it. I am not planning on I don't think I'm going to get anywhere in this contest, but the thing that I've always loved about the NYC Midnight Contest, as I've said in the past, is that you get pretty good feedback at the end. So I would love to get feedback. And then eventually, I'm sure, as a result of this, there will be some sort of screenwriting courses and things for me as I move forward. But this brings me to the topic of the week, which is stepping out of your comfort zone when it comes to your writing. I think whether it is something like screenwriting or songwriting or writing poetry or writing outside of the category or genre that you typically write in, I think there's an incredible power in taking the leap and doing this. I'm not saying for a long period of time. Look, I'm giving myself 1 week to sort of play in this sandbox. But I think whenever we do this, we talk so much about reading outside of our preferred genre or category of writing. But I think there is power in also just playing in the writing of different things as well. For one, and I'm just thinking of all of the different things that I hope to gain, whether or not I become a screenwriter at the end of this or not, which is, less likely. I have fallen in love with all of the other aspects of writing, short story and novels and just writing, personal essays and things like that. However, whenever I have taken the step out, and this is the thing, I have taken the step outside of what I was comfortable with before and found new loves in the process. So there's one benefit right there. You don't know. You may actually fall in love with something new, and you just add it to your repertoire. But even if you don't, even if you try something new and decide, I really didn't like writing in that genre, that category, I didn't write that like that style of writing, I do believe that whenever we step outside of our comfort zone, we are always building new muscles, new writing muscles. And it is something that can do nothing but help the rest of your writing. You're going to see things from different perspectives, just in the same way as we do when we read outside of our category. But I feel like it's even more powerful because it's playing with the medium. It's playing with the medium of words in a new and interesting way. I think the other thing that is really fun about stepping outside your comfort zone in terms of what you're used to writing and what you could potentially be writing is that when you start something new, at least for me, I know maybe not everyone sort of approaches new things in this way, but when I approach something new, I know I'm going to be terrible at it. You know, I know that there's going to be, I'm at the steep bottom end of the learning curve. I don't know what's going on. So there's really no skin in the game. I'm not expecting to be amazing at this new thing that I'm doing. And with that low bar, that low expectation that I have for myself as a writer in a new space, it's just a lot more freeing and fun to really just get in. And like the word I keep saying, I don't know if you keep picking it up, is I can play. So this comes across every single time we have a writing prompt party. I feel like I'm thrust a prompt that I had no preconceived notion of. This is not an idea that I'm married to. It is something that is just new, and I don't know what's going to come from it. So I just play with it and I have fun with it. Because it's, you know, if it doesn't come out great, it wasn't the idea that I've been, you know, imagining for all of this time and wanting to make the perfect story of. It's just a fun little thing that I'm doing. And that just brings a whole new energy to the page when I start writing. I love that kind of energy. I tell you, every time that we've heard the term before of beginner's mind. I have a beginner's spirit when it comes to things, and I've spoken about this before, but I'm always thinking back to like when my son was born and learning new things, and when he was learning to walk and he was stumbling all over the place, and every mistake that he made when he was learning to walk wasn't something to be admonished or vilified. You know, even when he stumbled, we were still celebrating that he was taking new steps. That's the kind of beginner's energy and soul that I bring to new things, new projects. And that's probably why I love always trying new things. But I think, you know, if you are of that spirit, or if you can learn to embrace that spirit, there is so much that could be gained from stepping out of your comfort zone when you write in a new space. And I've already mentioned, I wrote it down here, finding that potential to find a new love. You may say, let me just have fun. Look, April's coming up, right? We're a week away, 2 weeks away from April. April is National Poetry Month. If you do not write poetry, I think you owe it to yourself at least some point in April to either check out poets.org or go over to NaPoWriMo, see all of the different prompts and blog posts and all of the information that's coming out about writing poetry, and just take a stab at it one day. It doesn't even have to be for the whole month, but like give yourself over to this medium of writing poetry. And you don't know, you might fall in love with it. I actually have done the challenge of writing a poem a day for the entire month. And what I did is, man, I don't even know if the website still exists, but there was this website that had all of the different types of poetry, you know, because we have the list is ridiculously endless. You know, we learn about haikus in school, we learn about the sonnets, and but there's so many different rhythms and meters and things that you can play with. I really did try to hop around that list as I hopped around the month, and it was so much fun. So I love reading poems, and I do like writing poetry from time to time, but I noticed that when I came back to my own writing, there was some more melody in it because of that experiment that I did. But the other thing, and there's so many different things that you can get from writing outside your comfort zone, but the other thing that came to mind when I was just thinking, like, what are the real PowerPoints in why you would want to do this, is this is a whole new path to a whole new aspect of writing community for you. If you've always been writing in the same space, in the same category, in the same genre, and you've been seeking out your writing partners and your beta readers and just staying in the conversation around the writing of that type of work, then you've been around the same people. You've been, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you find your people, you found your people. That's great. But there is a whole world of writing people out there that have different lenses to look through. And this is one of the things that I really wanted to bring to the Happy Campers Club when I started it with Stop Writing Alone back in April 2020. I wanted to have a community of writers that were writing all over the place, whether you were writing nonfiction or poetry or novels or short stories. I wanted to have a meeting of writers from different categories and genres in that way, because I know that brings a special kind of richness to all of our conversations every single week when we're talking about the craft, or even when we're talking about our process, because it is so different from writer to writer, depending on, what kind of formulas do you need to follow in your category, in your genre? Are you a free writer, or do you, plot beforehand? For our poets, how many drafts do you go through, and how do you go through these different drafts to find your themes or your, the rhythm that you want to use in this bit of verse. So this is huge. If you haven't been talking to writers outside of your own category, or at least, I will say category. Outside, I think everyone probably dabbles in and outside of genre, right? If you write fantasy, chances are you've stumbled upon a sci-fi writer or a mystery writer. But if you're only speaking to novel writers and you're not speaking to short story writers or flash writers, or, like I said, poets or screenwriters, then you're missing out on an aspect of wordplay. Really, it's what it comes down to. The one thing that we all have in common is the medium that we use. We're all dealing with words, and how do we use those words? How do we translate them into story, into song, into history? So yeah, I think it's a really good time. Spring is like a whole new beginning, right? This is I'm always talking about how we can always start over. We have those New Year's resolutions, but it's spring. It's the beginning of the new year. So if you haven't made a commitment to experimentation in some way this year, I think this could be it. And it doesn't have to be a big thing, but I would say you've got, like I said, National Poetry Month is coming up. We've got all of the different short story spaces that you can go to. Story a Day May is going to be coming up the month after that, where Julie Duffy is always sharing all different types of resources and prompts to write short stories. So if you've been noveling all this time and you want to tap into short story, heck, I'm sharing prompts every single Friday over on the MV Rivera YouTube channel. Mostly I'm thinking about short stories when I'm sharing those prompts. And if there are any writers out there that have been writing short form, and you have thought about writing longer form, that's a little bit more of a commitment. I think for the most part, I'm probably speaking to the long form writers and saying, take a step outside if you've always been writing novels. But it does go the other way. It's just, it would be a larger commitment for somebody who's used to writing either short stories or poems or short films to then dive into a novel long experiment. And I think that conversation happens every single year when NaNoWriMo comes around, or, as we'll be coming in April, Camp NaNoWriMo. Everyone's always trying to challenge writers to take on the novel challenge. Can you do it? Can you write a novel in 30 days? And many writers have stepped up to try to accomplish that. I'm just not sure if many writers have gone in the other direction and said, I've always been trying to write longer pieces, but I'm not stepping out to do the others. So again, why do we want to do this? It's going to build new writing muscles. There's no skin in the game when it's not your first passion. It's something new. You're going to come in with a beginner's mind and a beginner's spirit to it and say, I'm learning, so I'm just going to have fun and do some wordplay. You never know. You may actually fall in love with this new type of writing. I mean, you may hate it too, and that may reignite the love for the writing that you are doing right now. If you're in a funk, this is another great way to sort of shake things up. I'm always saying if somebody feels stuck or bogged down by their writing project, that maybe they should just, take a week, take 2 weeks, maybe even a month off and do another type of writing project, but, with a deadline, and say, I'll be back. This is a great opportunity if you're taking one of those steps out to do that, to say, not only am I going to take a new project, but I'm going to take a new type of writing on. And then also, it's Stop Writing Alone. I'm always going to talk about it. There is an open door to a brand new writing community at the other end of a brand new type of writing. While you're out there looking for your resources to learn how to write about, in this new way, you are going to stumble upon people that have been writing, that are experts in a different way of wordplay, a whole different aspect of wordplay. And that's just a wealth of knowledge and juicy goodness for you for years to come. So, have you done it? What are the different categories that you have written in? What happened when you stepped out? Did you fall in love with a new type of writing? Or are you just an experimenter? You've been out there, you've been trying different things, but you tend to always come back to your one true love, fill in the blank of whatever it is. Are you a novelist? Are you a short story writer, a flash writer, a singer-songwriter, or just a songwriter? We don't have to all be singing if we're writing. A poet, a screenwriter, a playwright. What am I missing? I know I'm missing somebody. Oh, I apologize. It's a category that I will have to try sometime because I can't even remember it. But yeah. So wish me luck, because I'm still learning about the whole screenplaying process, and I have my software up, and I'm learning how to plug everything in, and I am really in the stage this part of the week right now of building the writing muscles, of changing my brain right now from the way I normally think about story, which is very narrative, into what are the things that I need to say and remember, because this is a visual story. And let me tell you, there are some mental acrobatics going on in my head right now. So my screenplay is due on Saturday, and whatever it is, it'll go in, and I will get feedback in a couple of months, and we'll see. We'll see where it goes from there. But I was really excited and proud of myself that I signed up for this challenge. It just felt like something that was incredibly long overdue, making the commitment to myself to try out screenwriting. So if there's any type of writing that you've been sort of sitting on the fence on and you haven't done it, I say, why not? Just go for it. Pick a time, a week, a month, whatever it is, and say, this is when I'm going to do it. There's going to be nothing to lose because I'm just trying something new. And let's see what happens. And if you do it, let me know what it is, and good luck. with it. Yeah, that's it. Otherwise, I will see you, or I won't see you. I can't see you. I wish I could see you. You will hear me. We will connect virtually through this wonderful medium of podcasting next week or sooner if you are a YouTube fan and you're over on the NV Rivera YouTube channel on Friday for our new prompt of the week for our next short story. Or over in the Stop Writing Alone network on Mighty Networks. You can just go to Mighty Networks and search for Stop Writing Alone, and you can find me there. In the next couple of months, we will be launching the 52 Club over there, where we'll be having weekly writing prompt parties for everyone who is a member, so that not only will you be getting prompts every single week, but we will be writing together and sharing our stories together for the rest of the year. And I can't wait for that. I've been doing it right now with the Happy Campers every single Friday, getting a brand new writing prompt in the writing prompt party. And we have so much fun, not only writing our stories, but sharing them with each other and playing with all the different writing prompt tools that we have here. So yeah, I look forward to having more people join the party as the year goes on. So again, that's over at the Stop Writing Alone network through Mighty Networks. I'll put a link in the show description as well. But that's it. Have a wonderful week. Happy writing. And as always, thank you so much for listening.